May I reply to that one?
Life beyond Earth.
You see, this is a beautiful exposition of the myths we live with.
And the mind of man. A symposium on extraterrestrial life and some of its implications for us all. Sponsored jointly by NASA and Boston University and chaired by Professor Richard Berenson.
Let me briefly introduce the panel. Next to me is Dr. Carl Sagan, who is an astronomer at Cornell University and probably one of the 5 or 6 leading researchers in this question of extraterrestrial life. He's the co-author with Shklovsky of the Soviet Union of the very famous book, Intelligent Life in the Universe.
It's therefore an extraordinary fact that we have listened to possible signals being sent our way from a mere handful of stars. The first such effort was more than 10 years ago, Project Ozma, organized by Frank Drake at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory. He looked for a couple of weeks at 2 stars at 1 frequency. The results were negative. In the meeting in Armenia, a group at Gorky University under V.S. Troitsky announced that they had been doing similar studies at looking at a dozen stars at 2 frequencies, slightly longer periods of time. No one was broadcasting from there. And Dr. Verschuur at the National Radio Astronomy Observatory has given me permission to make known at this meeting that he has performed recently a similar such search at 21 centimeter wavelength with the 140-foot, 300-foot telescopes at Green Bank. He has looked at another handful of stars, and they weren't sending anything either. The most optimistic estimates, in the view of many, about the number of civilizations that there might be in the galaxy is of the order of 1 million, which means that only 1 in a few 100,000 stars has such civilizations. Therefore, any such search requires not a brief look, but some substantial long-term commitment of radio telescope time.
To some more advanced civilization, science and technology in outer space doesn't thrill me, but just the opposite.
I try to imagine back when I was working hard as a student. Okay, there were a lot of textbooks. I would open up those textbooks, and in there would be what other guys had found out. Now, I didn't approach each page saying, oh my God, they know that also. To go to the other end, another aspect of this question is the exploration of our solar system by unmanned spacecraft. That's important, for example, for finding out if there are simple forms of life on, say, Mars or Jupiter. If the answer to that were yes, then the likelihood of the origin of life on planets of other stars would, of course, be vastly greater. Imagine a program of unmanned exploration of the entire solar system for the decade of the 1970s, which would examine every planet in the solar system, which would land several space vehicles on the surface of Mars. What would such a program cost? By the way, such a program we do not have because it was adjudged too costly. Such a program would cost less than the 1970 fiscal year cost overrun on the anti-ballistic missile system. To put that in another way, the accounting errors in the Department of Defense on a single weapon system come to more than a decade's exploration of the entire solar system. So again, it strikes me that this nation has the resources to undertake such exploratory ventures, and certainly this planet has those resources. It's just a question of, do we wish to do it? The kind of exploratory ventures we're talking about seem to me to be precisely the kind that are needed to reestablish a cosmic context for mankind. By finding out what the other planets are like, by finding out whether there are civilizations on planets of other stars, we reestablish a meaningful context for ourselves.
Finally, it would end our social and cultural isolation. To date, we have been bounded not only into our own countries and into our own small regions on this planet, but most assuredly within our solar system itself. If there are the tens of billions of other civilizations which the predictions indicate might be, then we would join a larger galactic community.
And if even after considerable search we don't find that our counterparts exist somewhere else, I cannot think that will be wrong either, because I think that will give us a heavier responsibility to try to represent some sort of approach to intelligence in this extraordinarily large and diverse universe.
But I think the one thing that has been shown is that regardless of the rest of the cosmos, there is intelligence at least sitting up here. I would